Mr. Cass, and we already took our roll upstairs, so I'm going to defer my president's report until the regular meeting. So we'll move to superintendent's report. I'll give my report in the regular session.
Okay, just a reminder, I asked the board about attendance at graduation. I believe I've heard from just about everyone, so if you haven't responded, you could let me know. I also have parking passes right here that I'll get through all of you, for the end of the night, so please don't leave without getting your parking pass. And obviously we'll be honoring our retirees at the regular meeting.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Cass, school business administrators report. Anything to report in the work session?
Should I do it now?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Yes, you go.
So we met with, there's an update on the curtain wall project at the intermediate school. We met with the architect and Panoramic, who's the contractor who will be doing the work. Due to some delays with production with the manufacturer and approval of the shop drawings, the project will not commence when we anticipated, which was supposed to be right after school ended. We are now we're hoping for it to start that Friday, August 4th. We are going over certain plans of how we can go about combating this to make sure that it has the least amount of disruption with the school. We've been working with Mr. Amato, the administration. Ms. Weldon's been working with us. Mr. Bossman's been working with us. We have a couple of ideas that we're working on. We have one that we think we're going to go with. But the one thing that's been consistent is we won't know exactly how long it's going to take till they do the first room. So we can't give an estimate for exactly how long it'll take, but the original project, we budgeted 10 weeks. So we're thinking hopefully early October, they'll be done.
Okay, with the least amount of disruption, we hope.
Yes, and that's Mr. Amato's been working with us on that to see which classes are least populated versus most populated.
So obviously we try to start with the most popular classes in August, so that's done during the summer months. When school is in session, obviously they will not work during the day, they'll work after school. And probably, Ellie, about how many classes at a time would be disrupted? 2-ish?
So it depends how big the crew is, 2 to 4, because I don't know if they can do 2 at this, because it's basically the top floor and the bottom floor,
Right.
the bottom floor and the top floor, but if they can do 2 at a time, it would be 4.
Okay, so at any given time, 4 classes would be displaced just at different classrooms in the school for about a day or two.
They think they can get it done in 2 days.
Okay.
That's what he said.
So for about 2 days, and then it would shift to a different 2 to 4 classes for another 2 days and a different 2.
Correct.
So
Correct.
any one particular class shouldn't be disrupted for more than a couple of days at a time. So hopefully by around Columbus Day.
That's what we're hoping. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be the worst case scenario.
You got a question? You're good. Anybody else have a question about the curtain wall project?
I know.
Okay, we'll move on to the presentation of minutes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Caught me off guard.
Move to
approve item 6.1. Do I have a second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, we'll move to financial management and resource services. Mrs. Hayes?
Hold on 1 second. Board of Education Administration will discuss 7.1 to 7.11.
Is there any discussion? Like to make any comments?
I have a question. At the last meeting, I'm sorry, I looked up and I didn't look up, sorry.
Yes, Alex.
Sorry. At the last meeting, we were asking about the parameters for the choosing of the awards. What were we calling that? Like the scale and all that, that the the attorneys and the physicians won their awards, won their
RFPs.
yeah, thank you. Geez, I can't talk tonight. So and we were supposed to get that, so wondering. I'm less concerned about the attorneys because
Yeah, I remember we talked about the doctors.
Yeah.
Because you interviewed the attorneys.
we did bring it up with the attorneys, but
Okay.
that's not really.
What we have for them in terms of any grading, scaling, we included in.
The criteria is attached
Yeah, we included everything
in the
That we
work
have.
session
related to the
to the attorneys.
grading, if you will, of it.
Okay, maybe I was looking at the
Yeah, criteria for selection of district physician for employees.
There were a number of attachments.
Yeah, my bad. I was looking at the, I guess I was looking at the main meeting, not the work session. So I did have a question about the Eatontown Pediatrics. Do we know which physician at all, like, will it always be one physician for contract A, the elementary schools, whereas it seems B and C? Did I read that wrong too?
It's my understanding that Dr. Murphy.
It will be Dr. Murphy.
Will be the primary. I mean, I don't know that we could ever say if he was not available, then the person from that group couldn't fill in. You know, obviously he'll go on vacation, things will happen. But I believe they put, unless they're by themselves, they put their group name as part of the RFP. That is typical. So, but it's, I believe Dr. Murphy will be the doctor, primary doctor from that. Yes.
Chris Hale?
I just have a question from last week, because I thought Dr. Murphy was just doing the elementary school. And then on this, it says that he's doing the high school as well.
No, it's
Does he do
just
this?
doing the elementary school.
Oh, okay.
So Dr. Adler, and then we have a new group doing.
The family first,
But
right?
he is down on the high school too. I did
Where's
see
he on the high
that.
school?
I saw it.
He has for years been the one who approved all the sports medical.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
sports
well,
physicals.
he was the high school this past year because the doctor we did have left. And so he picked that up. And we did that.
Well, that's why.
What number are you looking at?
I did see that. I did see that.
I'm wrong.
No,
I
I
just
think
wanna
it was in the regular.
It's on there, but it's
I
the
did see
scoring.
it.
It's the scoring. So he actually didn't score the highest. That's why he lost the contract.
Natalie,
7.1, how come so many of them are $500?
So, can I jump in?
Okay.
So most of those are aid and lieu checks, which is where the parents transport the kids. So the way we do it twice a year. So it's in February and then at the end of the school year, they get 500 each time for each student. So if some of them are denominated, like it's 1,500 or 1,000. So these are ones that are over a year old. So we wanted to get rid of those. And the way we do it is they have to come and pick it up at our transportation office and show their ID. So these are ones that have just been sitting in our transportation office for over a year. Most of them, some of them are just old vendor checks, but if you look, most of them are $500.
So now at this point, if somebody were to come back and.
We can research it. We have the backup.
Do it,
right.
Yeah.
but more than likely it's,
Yeah, I mean, we have the backup if they do contest it and we can issue a check if we needed to in a pinch.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Alex,
And last year we actually had the names, not the numbers, and some of us recognized people, and even one of our council members was on this list. But there's only numbers here, like, is there, you have the master list with the names, correct? So,
Yeah, we could always run that,
Okay.
like who it was to, if that's ever in question.
okay,
Elliot, I have a question about the document checklist for physicians, and maybe you don't. I have no idea. What is the Russia Belarus form and the Iran disclosure form?
So they started, it's basically kind of like another form of documentation we're required to get from our vendors. So we've been sending checks out, that's how we've been disseminating it to our vendors to get, they have to sign it saying they don't have any affiliation or business with
With
Russia or Belarus.
Russia or
Yeah.
Belarus. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we've just been, as we send checks out, we send it out with them and say, please fill this out, send it back.
Okay. Any other questions for the finance portion? Okay, move to instruction, education and student activities.
wait, I'm so sorry.
Dr. Beal.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, we didn't talk about the climate challenge. So are we gonna do that at the main meeting?
No, we'll do it now.
Okay.
Before, we're just gonna vote in the regular, if you don't mind. Since we have people to recognize. The student climate challenge for TOIS.
Yeah, I believe it's the students got third place in the contest and were awarded $500 to be used on the program. So they said the organization just sent us a check, so we're gonna deposit it and then the teacher or the admin will determine how to spend it.
Wonderful. Do you know who the teacher?
Thank you.
Are you allowed to share that?
Megan,
I mean, I don't,
Megan Edson.
yeah,
Taking it,
Yeah.
for a project.
Presenting.
Yeah.
We're still trying to get trees for. I'm sorry, Dr. Beal.
Any discussion regarding 8.1 or 8.2?
School suspension, transportation, summer. See any questions? Comments? All right. we'll go to personnel then.
Yes,
Mrs.
personnel
Crawford.
was discussed in executive session and will be voted on in regular.
Moving right along. We go to policy then, Mr. McCarthy.
Sorry, I was just.
Second
thinking-
readings of our.
I understand. I just was thinking about the old business and I was gonna bring
Oh,
up something
well-
else, but this is not the appropriate forum.
We can get to
So I
that too.
It's the right form.
apologize. Well, it's the correct forum. Thank you. It's not the right time during said forum. 10.1 is up for discussion. Any comments, questions, or concerns about the policies that we will be voting on in the following week?
Our second readings, okay. Nothing? All right. Wow. So. I know. Ms. Tortorella, Public Relations. PR.
Any, we have 11.1, 11.2. Any discussion on these items?
Just, yes, certainly.
All right, so obviously with 11.1, this is just the continuation of our contract with our shared service with the town regarding our class 3 officers to be maintained through next year. And the Stuff the Bus program is something we've been doing for a number of years with the folks at Cedar Village, that they donate each year filled backpacks, typically through grade 8, from pre-K to through grade 8 with school supplies and materials for those students in need. And it's a wonderful program that we've done with them for many, many years. So we're happy to continue that program.
It is wonderful program.
Questions going?
Yes. Ms.
Did
Rivera.
this Stop the Bus communication come from Dr. Miller?
I don't know. Typically, there's not.
Oh, no,
No.
okay. I
There's
feel like he used to always get the accolades and I feel,
I
okay,
think he was kind of like the middleman.
okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
there's some other folks,
There's other people.
some other folks, other stuff about folks.
All right, Missy has a question as well.
Have there been any changes to the class 3 officer agreement? Was there anything different? It's just the standard,
Yeah.
same.
Same as last year.
Alex?
I apologize. Does 11.2, did it already happen, the Stuff the Bus thing? Or it's
No,
going
it
to?
happens over this,
Yeah.
they do it over the summer, we do it in September.
And I'm not sure if I've seen photos of it on social. Are we getting a
Yeah.
photo
We
of
have in
this?
the past.
Are we have this one as well? And we're gonna put it on our
I'm
social media
I'm
maybe?
sure the new superintendent will direct that come September.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? PR? Okay, let's move to old business. You had some old business, Mr. McCarthy,
Just for what was requested last week, I started reviewing
policies.
the policies in term, maybe not reviewing is the right word, but I started to catalog the policies that we have that are not reviewed since prior to 2010. So I've managed to get through 146, 145 total policies. 20%, 29 of them, 20% are out of compliance. However, it should be known that I started from the beginning. And so with the work that Mrs. Talarico has done previously, I would anticipate that 20% is not reflective of the rest of it, because I believe that we managed to get through 1,000 series.
We got
Halfway
through,
through 1,000.
no, we haven't started.
We didn't start 1,000. So
Because
it might be more
bylaws and
reflective
mandated.
than I anticipate, because I'm
20%.
through the first 146 policies. So that leads into the 2000 series. So it might be more reflective. So 20% of them have not been reviewed since some of them, they've not been reviewed past the 2010 deadline that we had.
Is that the deadline you're using?
That's what I'm using, and I can change that and we could see.
No, that's
If
fine.
we wanted to change that deadline to have an idea of the amount that it would impact, I could do that in a matter of seconds and give that information for you right now.
That's excellent, and we would appreciate that. But when we do decide to update all the policies that you find are out of compliance, I think we should divvy it up. I think it's a big responsibility to just put on your shoulders or Grace Ann's shoulders. I know I did it the first time round, but I think other board members would or should share in the duties as well. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Aim.
can we take a,
Over the summer, maybe we can, make a schedule and, you take 20, you take 20 and we'll see about that so we can share in the duties of it. And this is a chance for, at least it was for me, to actually read through the policies one by one and the ones, as you said, some of them were so archaic that you wonder how they still are on the books. So I appreciate that. And I think maybe in the summer, we'll make a plan and decide how many and who would want to help do that. Alex?
no,
Oh,
never
I'm
mind.
sorry, Grace Ann, was that your hand? I couldn't
Yeah.
see.
I mean, I had this thought during the week that there's 9 sections and there's 9 of us. So if we each take one section each, we can expedite the process like Mr. McCarthy wanted and discussed last week. And I think it would be great, exactly what you're saying. I know that some have more than others, so anyone that's done first could help the other
Can help the
person.
other.
And then we'd get it all done probably within a year.
Okay. More comments? Amy, you had a comment about the shared duties,
So I can't.
policy reading? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Denise and I are gonna.
It does seem fair. It shouldn't just be, 2 board members having to do it. It's a big
Well, it's just a lot.
responsibility. And something that, like you said, we are governed by these policies, so. Any other old business then beside Mr. McCarthy? Okay, new business.
sorry,
I'm sorry.
Just going back to I know we're going to talk further at a later meeting, but since we seem to have a couple minutes now.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'll ask.
Could the policy committee go through and tell us, like, would you tell us which ones are outdated? Because will there be like a master list?
Yeah.
And then,
I have a
No,
report
which
for me
one?
right now. The way I'm building it out is you're gonna know which policies are out of date and which are not.
That's
Okay.
really helpful.
okay. All right, yeah, I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
You guys like that?
I mean, sounds better than the
Yeah.
other one.
It does. It does. It sounds better than.
I have a question
huge
about
list. Grace Ann.
But if that's only 20% of 40 policies, that's only.
146, 20% of 146 policies.
Of
Of
the
100
first section we were talking, there was only 40.
It's from 0
Two.
through to 2,700,
Wow.
146.
Oh, so how many would you say is in one section?
Well, the 2000 series section is way more than the 1000 series section, and then our bylaws are even less. So,
So when you're done with your spreadsheet, you can probably.
yeah,
say
I can
there's
compile.
700 policies or 900 policies, each of us take 100, and so it's not necessarily a section, but it'll be the same amount.
I can do that as well.
Grace Ann about it being some or more than others.
Like you said, we could have that done within a year.
Right.
There wouldn't be a.
I mean, me personally, I'd like to just review all of them, but whatever you guys.
I think
Policies, not just the 2000 and beyond, whatever. I can like, if there's 40 in section 1, then we do 40. And if we don't need to update them, we just cross it off and we put the date. So everything is, basically standardized for the next year and the next year.
Because some of them could say he, even though it's not out of date, but we don't speak that way in our policies. We try to make it a little bit more gender neutral, right? And or have he, she. So. But that's what,
All right.
Whatever, it's just.
10,000 policies versus.
Provide us with that, it'll be a starting point anyway.
It's a pivot table. I can give you all the data you want.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
give it all to
Policy
you.
committee getting
You're gonna
together and
sit
talk
there.
about those,
Any which way you want to look at it.
Yeah, why don't you guys?
How about a policy committee meeting
Elaborate.
For what?
to discuss how you would like this done, or we would like.
Yeah,
to-
right now, absolutely, yeah, but right now, so the question was, if we should have a policy committee meeting to discuss how we like this done. Right now, I'm just logging data. So once that's done, we can absolutely do that.
Okay. And however you decide you'd like the board to address this, we'll discuss it. Okay, we'll go to new business.
So put it right there.
New business? Alex?
So this is now, I think this is the third meeting, although maybe it's only 2 weeks or maybe it's 3 weeks. Since we got the School Ethics Commission advisory opinion handed down. So I'm just wondering, we have some members serving on committees that according to the AO shouldn't be. So are we going to have any sort of reorganization or,
No, I consulted, I told you, last week I consulted with Mr. Gross, who read it through and said, no negotiations for me,
Mhm.
no superintendent
Mhm.
for me, or anybody in a supervisory capacity over my family members. And he said, just continue on. And I spoke with Mrs. Friedman, I told you this last week, who said, consult your attorney. I also spoke with the person who wrote the advisory opinion, and she also said, consult your attorney.
the
And I
advisory,
plan to ask Mr. Taylor about it as well.
the advisory opinion though mentioned, the instructional council and the technology committee as well.
And that's why Mr. Gross said he didn't see that, he thought it was poorly written. Actually, he did. He thought it was poorly written. And when I questioned the person who wrote it, her only response was, speak to your attorney. She was not about to go point by point through the advisory opinion. And again, I will consult Mr. Taylor once he gets on board. And actually, I had asked him to do a board ethics PD for us. So we'll speak with him about it further. But no, we're not going to do a reorganization.
I wasn't suggesting a reorg,
Yeah,
but
well, you brought that up, so no, we're not going to do that.
okay.
Anything else?
Yes, along those lines. So we had a couple of policies that we were waiting on pending the AO. There was like, the bylaws, the committees, the committee, the policy that was about committees, the policy that was about the president and the vice president, and then the nepotism policy. They were kind of in limbo and I don't think we never voted on them because we were waiting on the AO.
That's right.
So is that
Let
something?
the policy committee look at those, but again, first I'd like to consult with the attorney, our new attorney.
All right.
New business. Okay, we go to the public comment portion of our meeting. Mrs. Conway, is there anyone in the queue who would like to make a comment?
Yes, Madam President, we have Tiffany Fisher. Please go ahead.
Hi, I just have a question. The Stuff the Bus, you guys said it was K through 8, but on the side it said K through 5. Which one is it?
I believe in the past, they've gone to the middle school beyond 5th grade, but we'll certainly get a clarification. And
Okay, and is it in district distributed or out of district?
in district.
Oh, okay, because that wasn't stated either. Thanks.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Mrs. Conway in the queue?
No, Madam President, there are no more commenters.
So we'll adjourn for 30 minutes.
I guess so.
All right.
Take a motion
like
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.